Martha, the sister of Mary and Lazarus, is one of the most relatable and human figures presented in the Gospels. Her story is rich with details that reveal her emotions, doubts, faith, and spiritual growth. Throughout the narratives, Martha experiences moments of intensity, personal confrontation, and revelation that lead her to witness the glory of God in extraordinary ways. Today, Martha's story teaches us about balancing work and devotion, trust and surrender, and invites us to reflect on how we prioritize our spiritual lives amid daily responsibilities. Martha lived in Bethany, a village near Jerusalem, alongside her sister Mary and her brother Lazarus. The strategic location of Bethany made it a frequent stop for pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem, and Martha's home became a refuge for Jesus and his disciples. The relationship between Jesus and Martha's family was special, described with words that highlight the deep love he had for them. John 11 verse 5 says, "Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus." These words reflect the close bond of friendship and affection that existed between them, a connection that transcends the events recorded in the Gospels. In the first episode where Martha is mentioned, Jesus arrives at her home, and she welcomes him with the typical hospitality of Jewish culture at the time. Martha takes on the responsibility of serving Jesus and his disciples, ensuring that everything is in order. For Martha, this act was not just a cultural duty but an expression of respect and care for Jesus. However, her dedication quickly turned into frustration when she realized she was alone with all the tasks while her sister Mary sat at Jesus' feet, listening to his teaching. In a moment of exhaustion and irritation, Martha interrupted Jesus and complained, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me." Jesus' response is memorable. "Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." These words were spoken with love but also with clarity, pointing to the heart of the issue. Jesus did not criticize Martha's work but invited her to reflect on her priorities. Martha was so focused on serving that she missed the opportunity to simply be in Jesus' presence, absorbing his words and enjoying his company. This scene captures the internal struggle that many of us face even today. Life is filled with responsibilities and commitments, and we often find ourselves so caught up in our daily tasks that we neglect what is most important, our communion with God. Martha represents those who, despite their best intentions, get lost in the demands of daily life and miss precious moments of spiritual intimacy. The second episode involving Martha is even more powerful, as it takes place during a family tragedy. Her brother Lazarus had fallen gravely ill, and Martha and Mary sent word to Jesus, asking him to come and help. However, Jesus delayed his arrival by 2 days, and by the time he reached Bethany, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. The pain and grief were overwhelming, and Martha was the first to go out and meet Jesus. Martha's words to Jesus combine faith and lament. "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." This statement reveals her belief in Jesus' power but also her struggle to understand the reasons for his delay. Martha believed that Jesus could have prevented Lazarus' death, but had not yet realized that he had the power to bring life even in the face of death. Jesus responded with one of the most powerful declarations in all of Scripture: "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die." Do you believe this? In response to this question, Martha replied, "Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into the world." This confession of faith is extraordinary. Even in her sorrow, Martha reaffirms her belief in Jesus as the Messiah, demonstrating a profound understanding of his identity. Jesus then went to Lazarus' tomb, where Martha once again showed her human limitations. When Jesus commanded that the stone be removed, Martha protested, "But, Lord, by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there 4 days." Despite her faith, Martha still struggled with practical and natural realities. Jesus reminded her, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" And then, in front of everyone, Jesus called Lazarus out of the tomb, performing one of the greatest miracles of his ministry. This event profoundly transformed Martha's life. She not only saw her brother restored to life, but also witnessed the direct and personal manifestation of God's power and glory. The resurrection of Lazarus was not just a physical miracle, but a demonstration of Jesus' absolute authority over life and death, reinforcing his declaration that he is the resurrection and the life. Martha's story offers us several valuable lessons. First, it reminds us of the importance of balancing work and devotion. Martha was a dedicated and hardworking woman, but her concern with tasks prevented her from fully enjoying Jesus' presence. In a world as fast-paced as ours, it is essential to find time to sit at Jesus' feet, seeking his word and renewing our faith. Second, Martha teaches us that we can bring our concerns and doubts to Jesus. In both narratives, Martha was honest about her feelings, whether it was exhaustion from work or grief over her brother's death. Jesus responded with patience and compassion, showing that he welcomes our struggles and guides us to a deeper understanding of his presence. Finally, Martha challenges us to trust God even when we do not understand his actions. Her faith was tested by Jesus' delay, but she continued to believe in his power and love. Martha's response to Jesus' question, "Yes, Lord, I believe," is a model of faith that we are all called to follow. From a modern perspective, Martha represents all those who struggle to balance the demands of daily life with their spiritual lives. She reminds us that our activities and concerns should never take us away from our primary priority, our relationship with God. Just as Martha saw the glory of God in a tangible way, we too are invited to trust him and seek his presence, knowing that he is capable of doing the impossible. If you liked this video and want to know more about the characters that surrounded the life of Christ and formed the rich biblical story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and send this video to your friends. Turn on notifications to know when new videos come out.